talking to you while I'm playing or making an attempt to, which fails a lot. I decided, since I'm playing Call of Duty, to talk about stuff. I mean, I know it could be a multitude of things. Like, it could be me just talking to you about life. It could be me talking to you just about random shit. You know, because a lot of random shit actually does happen to me. You know what this is gonna be? Tales with the Uber driver. So, Uber and Lyft actually. So a couple days ago, no, not even a couple days ago. Yesterday, yesterday. So I was driving. Well, I was in an Uber. I got picked up from work and everything like that. And the chick basically, like, she was a gorgeous girl. Her name was Shawanda. So, you know, if Shawanda ever like sees this or figures out who I am, I'm sorry. So she, like, in her Uber picture, she looked about ghetto as hell. For no apparent reason, she just looked ghetto as fuck. And I'm like, I'm not necessarily gonna judge her for her appearance of ghetto-ness. Like, hood rattery I have nothing against hood rattery. It's just that this hood rattery, she looked like she was in high school, for the one. And then she was doing a little thought girl pose. And we all don't know what a thought is that hoe over there. Not saying that she's a thought, but she was engaged in the pose that thoughts do. And you know, she was an attractive girl. And oh my God, if this shit keeps popping up, I need to disable that. I'll disable that eventually. But she was cute. Like, when she picked me up, her car was all clean. She was attractive as hell. And I'm like, hey girl, how you doing? Or whatever. And I'm like, hi, I'm Charles. You Shawanda, right? She's like, yeah, hop on in. So, yeah, you going to the Willis Tower? Yeah, okay. So I live in Chicago currently. Well, actually, yeah, currently I live in Chicago, but I'm moving soon. So she was taking me from my job, and I work for United Airlines or whatever. She was taking me there back to my crib in the West Loop. So I'm just like, yeah, this is gonna be pretty chill or whatever. Like, cool, whatever. God, hop into your dig with you. Hop in the V6. So we turn on Jackson and we're just driving down, and she's just chalking it up, like straight up decent conversation. And I'm like, oh wow, she's actually like talking. I usually, when I get like a female Uber driver, they'll just eyes on the road, don't say nothing. It's usually the dudes that be like, hey, what up, man? Have this casual conversation. Her, on the other hand, she was actually like talking. I'm like, this is pretty chill. So we get to like 10 minutes from my crib, and I'm texting my boy Oscar. I'm like, hey, Oscar, yeah, she's actually pretty cute or whatever, and she's actually like having a conversation. He's like, yeah, man, go for her, yada yada yada. I'm like, nah, dog, it ain't even like that. Because he always thinks that when the female is like being nice to me or smiling or looking in my direction, they into me or they trying to talk to me. And I'm like, that's not the case most of the time. Like not even gonna lie, 90% of the time that's not the case. But he was like, yeah, talk to her, man. So, you know, I give her a compliment. I'm like, you a little son of a bitch. I'm sorry, that scene just pissed me off. But anyway, I was like, okay, yo, you a very nice person. Like, you be pretty chill. And she's like, oh, thank you. So I'm like, shit, I'm not that far from the crib. Let me tell my homie to turn the stove on in the crib, because I'm about to go cook some baked chicken. So I hit on the phone, hit him on the hotline bling, like, hey, yo, D, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor. I'm gonna need you to turn on this oven for me. He's like, all right, cool, what you want the oven to be on? I was like, put it on like 420, because I'm about to season that chicken, pop it in there. So I get off the phone, and I see she got a little smirk on her face. So I'm like, what the fuck is she smirking at? I'm like, she must have saw something funny. And she's like, oh, so you cook, huh? I'm like, huh? She's like, you cook? I heard you on the phone. I'm like, oh, yeah, I do. I'm like, yeah, you heard me on the phone. I'm sitting in the back seat, you dumbass. So I'm like, yeah, I cook or whatever. She's like, oh, that's hot. That's hot. So what you cooking? I'm like, oh, I'm just, some baked chicken, some brown gravy, rice, some vegetables, just some simple stuff for the weekend. She's like, oh, that's what's up. She's like, then she started talking about, oh, well, I'm not really a cook or anything. I need to start doing that because I keep eating out and spending money and I'm getting a little fat. So I'm sitting, all right, so you know how the driver's seat is? You could sit at an angle and you could see, like the person's body if you're in the back seat on the passenger side. So I'm looked at, I'm like, no, you're not fat at all. Like, you look nice. She's like, oh, you should have seen me a couple years ago. I'm like, hey, you look good to me. Now, I wasn't flirting. I was giving, positive reinforcement because she did actually look. She had a pleasant look about her to me. So I'm giving her the compliment. Like a regular schmo. What the hell this dude keep joining a goddamn party for? But just like a regular, Joe schmo. Like, yeah, you gorgeous or whatever. Whop the bam, and you cute. So she started blushing, and I'm like, oh, could this be what I think it is? And then she started giggling, and out of nowhere she gets quiet, like dead quiet. Like I'm looking. I was at first when we were talking, I look at her in the rear view, and she'll make eye contact with me for a couple of seconds. That's unsafe when you driving, cause like I'm your passenger. But hey, if we get hit, we know it's a mutual. I'ma hold your hand in the ambulance type thing. So we pulling up, and this is right after she get quiet, and then like she like subtly lowers the window. I'm like, why she lowering the window? And then I smell it. I'm like, this bitch farted. So I text my boy. I'm like, yo, Oscar, she farted, yo. And he like, you lying? She a savage. I'm like, nah, she not a savage. She trifling. I wouldn't do that to her. That's petty. So long story short, it was actually going well. We were talking, but she farted. Case in point, don't fart.